Welcome back to A Closer Look. If you're just joining us, my guest today is Buddy Morrison and Doug Call, and they are experts in all things self-defense, let me tell you. So let's talk about this a little bit more.
All right.
So I've already mentioned that I did take my Tennessee handgun permit class with you.
Yes.
Now let's walk through that so people know exactly what that entails, because I have a lot of people at work that say, oh, we want to take that, we want to take that.
Right.
And I'm like, well, then take it. I think they think it's so much more than what it is as far as taking up their time, but we did it all in one day.
That's correct. It's a state mandated 8-hour course, but usually you break it up to 4 or 5 hours of classroom material and then 3 or 4 hours of range, depending on the time. And typically you learn about state laws, how the laws affect you when you carry a handgun, where, how, and the legal aspects of breaking those laws so that you understand what you're doing and can be a responsible gun owner. And then you take a test. It's a test, a multiple choice test. Depending on if you pass that, then you can take the range test. The range test is basically 50 rounds, and you shoot it from 3 different distances to prove that you're accurate with a weapon.
Yes.
And then if you do that, then the state of Tennessee will give you a handgun permit.
And I was more nervous about that than I was the written part, because I thought, I haven't shot a gun very much, and I don't even know if I'm going to be able to hit the target. But you gave good advice on, okay, now look here, now hold it, no, you're breathe better, do this, do that, and it really wasn't hard, because the distances aren't that far, and like you made the point, we're not going to be shooting, if we are in self-defense, from 100 yards, you know?
Right,
So it
right.
was pretty close distances. It's self-defense, and
Right.
so that was easier to hit the target, to be quite frank. But the written test, it was interesting, because we had to learn different parts of the gun, the pistol, and what it was called, and just little things, that because I didn't even know how to refer to the different parts of the gun. So that was interesting. The gun thingy. Bobby's talking in my ear. That gun thingy. Yeah, the gun thingy. That's what it was. He sees making fun of me. You can't do that when we're on TV now, Bobby. But it was a really cool class, and so we did learn like what kind of situations to look out for, how to handle it, when we can use the gun, and when we shouldn't. So that was good to know. And that, what was that? I can't say this word. Reciprocity.
Reciprocity.
That.
So that basically entails what states honor Tennessee's handgun permit. So if you're taking a trip to Florida, Florida has a reciprocity with the state of Tennessee that you can carry in their state, provided that you follow Florida's state handgun permit laws, not Tennessee's. So you have to understand how to do that. And also learning how to transport a firearm, because that comes under federal gun transportation guidelines and laws, and that's different from a handgun permit. So you still have to understand that, because the gun has got to get there and get back. So it's kind of a different thing that I understand, as well as
They kind of make it hard, it's like if you have to look up everything before you travel. Now, I was under the impression, correct me if I'm wrong, that most states, it seemed like when I looked at that map that you're showing the reciprocity had our same laws that we could drive through. But there are several, like New York and others, that boy, don't bring a gun in there unless you have one of their permits, or you can get in big trouble.
That's right.
And that's important to know. That kind of scared me a little bit.
Yeah, and you kind of have to keep up to date on those. So there's some websites out there that'll give you information as it comes out. I think that that's part of being a responsible gun owner, to keep up with all the laws and stuff. And these are perishable skills. I mean, that's why you have to come back and train and train and train.
Yes.
Because if you don't, you will lose it. And
which takes me to the advanced pistol shooting class. That's what I need to take next. So we take the Tennessee handgun permit class, or I call the concealed carry class. I guess I call everything wrong. But that's basically what people consider it to be. And so you take that, and that's just opening the door. So now you've passed it. You can get a gun legally and carry it. Now you got to learn how to shoot.
Right, and shoot in a combative mode, okay? So as you well know, when you take the handgun permit class, it's basically learning how to stand still and shoot a target to qualify for a gun permit. Well, in reality, you're not going to be standing still, and you have to have an understanding of your awareness, or your environment that you're in order to draw a gun and deploy it and shoot if you need to. And hopefully you won't, but if you do, you need to know those situations and the ones that don't. Well, the class doesn't really teach you that. So we build on 2 advanced handgun classes, and one's called Carry Essentials, okay? So it teaches you what you need to do in those situations. But prior to that, we like for people to take a foundations class where we actually incorporate how do you hold the gun, how do you draw the gun, how would I carry the gun, is it in a holster, is it going to be in a purse, a backpack, where is it going to be, is it going to be in my vehicle, what do I do with it if I have to get out and go into a bank or a courtroom, how do I secure that weapon to my vehicle, those type things. And learning cleaning it, yes, absolutely. Cleaning, and that's part of the handgun permit course, but we go a little bit more in depth on that one and understanding the things that you need to do. And the gun needs to fit you. And so not everybody's the same. And so those things that come into the part of owning a handgun and shooting it and being responsible with, it's all part of that course.
Okay, so I've purchased my weapon, and I understand the weapon, but I'm not comfortable with the weapon. So I said, I've got to take this advanced class because I want to get to the point that I feel very comfortable cleaning it, shooting it, feeling comfortable, all things with it. So
Right.
like you said, in most situations, which I hope I never ever have to use it, but my kids are all grown and gone, I'm by myself, I want to feel comfortable with it. And that's what this class really helps you do.
Yes, that's correct. And it's basically something that builds your confidence over time. So the more you shoot, the more confidence you're going to get. And that's why we built 2 of those advanced classes in there.
That's right.
To give you those
the
foundations.
Carry Essentials and Foundations.
Yes, the foundations is first and the essentials is second.
Okay.
And that's kind of teaching you more situational stuff. You're sitting at a table, someone comes in to a restaurant and starts shooting, what do you do?
And like I
type
learned
things.
from my martial arts training, I don't like being in a restaurant or anywhere with my back to the door,
Yeah, me
ever.
either.
I've always been that way. So whenever I go to a restaurant, I automatically just always sit facing the door. And that was one thing that got ingrained in me. But we learned that also in the carry class,
Yes.
that you should always be facing so you are aware of your surroundings and what's going on.
That's right. That's what we term environmental awareness. What am I aware of in my environment? Are there threats? Where are they? Where are my exits? All that type of thinking that I know. If I'm in a situation, how I'm going to react.
So my next class would be Foundations.
Yes, the foundations class. That's going to build you up from the ground up, understand stance, grip, posture, a lot of trigger time. We're going to probably shoot 200-300 rounds of that class. So we're going to give you a lot of range time to incorporate, get your dial in as far as shooting and accuracy and feeling the trigger and the recoil and all that good stuff.
And that's one day.
That's a one-day class. It's
So-
about 6 hours.
About 6 hours. That's what I like about these classes, because everybody's time is hard.
Yeah.
Just you and I trying to get together to do this was hard, because everybody's got busy lives.
Yes.
So if we could devote one day and just really concentrate on it, then we can go at our own pace to the shooting range and things like that.
Correct.
But so I need to do Foundations, then the Advanced Carry Essentials.
Yes, that's going to be more situational stuff. So that's about 6 hours as well. But instead of just basically shooting off of a line or whatever, you're going to go more into sitting, standing, kneeling, prone, different things like that.
Running, Bobby
Running, possibility, you never know.
I know. So after I take advanced pistol shooting, then we were talking about center axis earlier.
Yes.
So now we're getting real advanced and all this stuff. And that's what you were talking about, Doug, right?
That's right.
Okay. Now, I can shoot. I've taken all your classes, and then I'm going to do my self-defense. I'm going to be so Johnny bad, I'm not going to know what to do with myself.
You will be.
You will be.
Now, center axis, is that one day as well?
No, that's typically 2 to 3 days.
Oh, okay.
So that is an extended period of time because of the mass of material, okay? You change a lot of things foundation-wise on that, but you really have to have a skill set built up in order to understand why you're making those changes and the differences thereof. It is a tool to be used in a certain set of situations, not for everything, but certain sets, okay? So the more confined or more, where it's more critical shot type situations, center axis would probably be better than the preferred, isosceles or Weaver's type stance shooting.
Okay, and now we're talking a different language. So when you're talking about these situations, give me an example.
So let's say you're in a restaurant again, okay? Restaurants are pretty crowded. If someone starts shooting at you coming through the door, you're going to have to place a pretty critical shot. So that type of confined space, or better yet, you're in your car and somebody walks up to your car in the middle of the night and it's dark and you're there by yourself, or you can't just deploy a handgun inside without rolling down the windows or something like that. So understanding how to move in some type of confined environment, or even your home, moving around your home, you hear a noise in your house, how are you going to clear your house, those type of things are what we go over in that.
And you were talking about shotgun.
Yes.
That's a class.
Yes.
What's that called again?
Tactical shotgun. Basically, it helps people understand for like home defense. Some people just want a shotgun, okay?
I've heard that a lot. People say,
Yeah.
I want a shotgun, because if they just hear,
Yeah, that is kind of a,
a lot of times people just run.
yeah.
The universal signal.
Yeah, it is, it is. So
You should leave.
people pick up on that type of signal, and it is universal like Doug says, but some people want to know how to work that in the environment of their home or outside their home, in that type of environment, and move in this type of a close quarter, because you are in a type of a close quarter in a house.
Yes.
So that's part of that class, and that's a one-day class too.
There are so many classes. Okay, I'm going to take this next class, and then I'm going to take foundations, then advanced carry essentials. Then we're going to have to get together again, because I'm going to be more informed and tell everybody about this. And again, I want to mention, if people want to get involved in
Yes.
taking your classes, morrisontacticaltraining.com and morrisontactical1@yahoo.com, or 423-817-5649 for more information, because you really are an expert in this field. You have like 100 black belts, and you could shoot with such accuracy. I was like in awe. So people really need to look into this, and
Thank you.
and if they want to learn more about it, you're the man. And that's what we're talking about here. So thank you for joining me today.
All right.
It has
Thank
been
you.
such a pleasure,
Good
and we
seeing
have to go shooting again.
That sounds great.
Sounds great.
Yeah, because Claudia was like, that's awesome, and we need to get better at this, so we're going to get together soon. Thank you for joining us, and we'll be back next week with another edition of A Closer Look.